Hey, just a quick introduction to logarithms. It's a funny word. A lot of people get really confused about this topic, but there's not much to be confused about. And I think this short video will really help you understand why we need logarithms. So let's start with this simple equation. If I wanted to solve this equation in terms of x, I would subtract 2 from both sides, and I would have x equals 8 minus 2. So we understand that subtraction is the inverse function of addition, and we can use it to solve for x. Let's move to this equation. 2 times x equals 8. If I want to solve for x, I would divide both sides by 2. So now I have an equation that is solved for x. Division is the inverse operation of multiplication. All right, then we get to an exponential equation. 2 to the x equals 8. Well, we know the answer is 3. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. But right now, we don't have any way to rearrange this equation to solve for x. We don't know what the inverse operation is of exponents. And so a Scottish mathematician named John Napier, last name's Napier, invented a concept called the logarithm, recognizing that we don't have anything right now that is the inverse operation of an exponent. If we wanted to solve for x, we don't have a tool in our toolbox for writing x equals. Okay, so here's what he decided. We're basically asking what number, when you raise 2 to that number, will give you 8. That's a mouthful, that's a long sentence, but that's what we're thinking in our heads. So he just basically said, if that's what we're thinking in our heads, then why don't we come up with a name for that and a notation for that? And that was the logarithm. He apparently got the word logarithm from the Greek word logos, which means word, and you can see the word arithmetic in the second half. So it's just, he just combined those two words. Like, I need a word for this kind of arithmetic. I'll just call it a logarithm. And this is what it looks like. He would say that x equals log base 2 of 8. So 2 is the base, and we're saying, what would you have to raise 2 to in order to get 8? Right? And so now we have a way of getting x alone on one side of the equation and all the other information on the other side. And basically the word log is just taking the place of all that big long sentence, because you don't want to have to write that sentence every time you're doing a math problem. So when you see the word log, a logarithm is an exponent. It's a fancy way of saying the definition of this exponent. What is the definition of this exponent? It is when you take base 2 and raise it to that exponent, you get the answer 8. All right, so it takes a little while to get your mind wrapped around this new concept. So I'll give you a couple more videos to look at so you can hear 2 other teachers explaining it, and then some pretty easy exercises to get used to it.